Since turning on Drive, I earned 26.2% more with it. I understand how it generates income really well. So what's actually inside Drive doing the work and what parts actually move the needle? Drive isn't just one single tool, it's made up of several components that all work together. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 core components of Drive, what each one does, and most importantly, how I use each one on my travel blog. And I'm also going to show you where you control these in the dashboard and how they actually appear on page. So the first component switches links to travel payouts links. And that's the foundation of how Drive works. And essentially what that does is find all of the relevant travel links on your page and turn them into travel payouts links. So instead of us going back to update loads of old blog posts, change the hotels, change the flights, change the tours, Drive is just going to handle all of that automatically for us, which of course we love. On my site, that means that articles I wrote years ago are now actually monetized and were worth me writing them in the first place. And I haven't even had to touch them. In the Drive dashboard, this is one of the main toggles and I keep it switched on across my entire site because it's basically effortless extra income. The second component links to relevant keywords. And what that's basically doing is going one step further than just converting existing links. It's actually identifying relevant keywords and turning them into links. So let's say, for example, I mention a hotel, travel-related service, destination. Drive can intelligently turn on some of those keywords into affiliate links, even if I didn't actually link it myself in the first place. So it's picking up some extra income that I might have missed. And the key thing worth mentioning here is that Drive does it in a really natural way, so it doesn't just fill my entire page with tons of affiliate links, because we do not want that. And from a user experience perspective, this is actually just really helpful because it's connecting my readers to the exact information that they might be looking for at the perfect time. And in the dashboard, you control how actively this feature works. But I personally keep it enabled because it helps close those small revenue gaps I would otherwise miss. And then we're onto the third component, which inserts recommendations. And this is where I think that Drive starts to feel like a personal assistant for your website. So basically, based on what somebody is reading, Drive can insert relevant travel recommendations into the text on page. For example, let's say that a reader is on your page reading a guide about Rome. Drive is going to go ahead and insert a little block of text that recommends hotels, tours, transport, etc. And those recommendations are going to be integrated naturally onto your page, so nothing is going to feel like an ad, nothing spammy, no banners or anything like that. I personally think that's been quite a useful part of Drive because it adds value for my readers whilst also increasing monetization in a really organic way. In the Drive panel, this is of course another component that you can toggle on or off, and I've chosen to keep it active because it aligns with how I want my site to feel anyways. And then we're on to the fourth component, which displays smart previews. And this one's all about giving your users more useful information before they've even had to click the link. And what happens is when Drive identifies a relevant travel option, it can show a small preview just like this with key details, reviews, etc. And I think that's so useful because seeing the reviews there is essentially like social proof that you're recommending a great tour, and it's going to encourage your reader to actually go and book that tour. And again, I personally feel like these smart previews look really natural on my site and it's only helping me monetize my content further. And then again, in the dashboard, this sits alongside the other Drive components and you can toggle it on and off whenever you want to. But like I said, I actually really love this feature of Drive and I will always keep it on. The fifth and final component is where Drive shows targeted offers, and this is where Drive gets really powerful and very exciting for monetization. So what this part's going to do is instead of showing the same offer to every visitor, Drive is going to analyze how your users behave on your site. It looks at things like what they click, how long they stay on certain pages, what type of content they're interested in. And if somebody is clearly showing high intent, for example, they might repeatedly be looking at accommodation content, Drive can then surface really relevant offers for them at the right time. And basically what that means is that you're not just monetizing based on the content, but you're also monetizing based on user behavior. And of course, we love that. That's one of my favorite parts of this Drive system, and it's where I've seen the most bookings come through. But what's really important to say is that the strength of Drive doesn't just depend on one of these alone, because they're all working together as an ecosystem. Travel payouts say that you can earn up to 30% more by having all of the components of Drive switched on. And as I told you at the start, I'm earning 26.2% more by having all of these features on myself. So if you're a travel blogger, understanding these 5 components makes it so much clearer why Drive is such a big upgrade. You're really not just turning on one tool, you're turning on an entire AI-powered monetization system that works across your entire site. And to be honest, that means that we can focus on creating blog content, traveling more, and all that kind of stuff, while the monetization side of things is all handled by Travel Payouts. So hopefully I've convinced you and shown you that Drive really is worth turning on. If you want to give Drive a go yourself, make sure you click the link below.